Kia ora and welcome everyone to Dunedin, a sunny Dunedin, where you are tuned into the 2020 Athletics New Zealand Cross Country Challenge. This, of course, was due to be the New Zealand Cross Country Champs. It's had a renaming. Jason Cameron is with me in studio. My name is Hayden Sherman. So, Jason, do you want to bring those up to speed who haven't caught on to the news that a third of the country's in lockdown, and we've had to readjust the title of the championship today to a challenge.
Absolutely, Hayden. The year we've had so far. Unfortunately, our Auckland athletes, the majority of them can't be here today, and that tough decision taken by Athletics New Zealand to alter the status of the event. But what I keep coming back to is that this is the pinnacle cross-country race of the season. It's what every athlete's been working towards. It's a race. You've got to get out there and give it all.
Absolutely. And we've still got some. We've been through the last sort of 24 hours. You and I have been going through these start lists, and man, we've got some stellar talent on display. And as you can see there, the sun is shining. Beautiful conditions here at Chisholm Links, and just on the coast in Dunedin, overlooking the ocean, and it's a great spot to be doing cross-country. So why don't we go through the event schedule. Up first will be the a combo 6K race where we've got the under-20 women mixed with the men's over 65 and the Masters women. So they'll all be running 6K, which is 3 laps of the 2K course around the links course here. And then at 11 o'clock, we are going to jump on into the under-18s men and women. So you can see there the women will be doing 5K and then 6K. And then after lunch at 2 o'clock, we'll be rolling into the senior men, senior women. So we're going to give a bit of an overview of this course, what to expect, what our runners are going to encounter out there on the course. And Jason, sitting next to me, has had a run around, but a few weeks ago we had local legends Ollie Chignell and Rebecca Green out on the course, and so they were followed around by a drone and a camera, so we'll get a close look. So this is very close to where we are. You can see the club rooms just there in the background. Talk us through this start.
Yeah, so Ollie and Rebecca are rolling into the first kilometre here, which is a sort of a gradual descent, and they're starting to work up to one of the high points of the first half of the course there. So, when I look at this course, I went round for the first time yesterday. It's probably for the North Island athletes who've come down. This is very similar to the Taupō Spa Park course. It doesn't have the big hill in it, but lots of short, sharp ascents and some long descents. And it's not smooth running underfoot. It's not like your manicured golf fairways, greens. It's reasonably rough and uneven in some places. So it's very much a traditional New Zealand style cross-country course.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's really a beautiful picture here. Golf courses do make good training grounds for distance runners. We often sneak into them and do our fartlek sessions on them, but as you can see, some nice rolling hills, a few little tricky spots underfoot to keep an eye out for, and particularly around about 700 or 800 metres into it, we'll get to there shortly, there's a good old downhill which we might see some carnage, we might see some slipping and sliding, and that's where you want to, from a coach's perspective, Jason, you're probably talking to your athletes, making sure they've got reasonably long spikes on.
Yeah, I don't think you want to go too long. We have had a little bit of rain overnight last night, but the course is in pretty good condition. It's pretty firm. I don't think it's going to break up. There are a couple of squelchy bits, but probably 9mm spikes are going to suffice today, I would say.
Yeah, and that'll just give you that confidence to really make the most of those downhills, because obviously with cross-country, and you've run at the World Cross Country Champs, you've got a fair amount of experience at this. You want to make the most of the terrain. You don't want to be afraid to attack it, afraid to attack those short uphills and then make the most of gravity, giving you a little bit of a boost on the downs.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got 2 loops today, folks. We've got the big loop is 2 kilometres, and we have a shorter 1 kilometre loop for some of the younger grades. It's about 23 metres in vertical ascent for the 2K lap. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a real roller coaster course. There's some big sweeping downhills. The best way to describe it, I think, is it's going to be relentless. No matter how far you're running, it's very much a strength-based course, I feel, but track speed is going to be very handy as well.
All right, so starting at 10:30, we've got the Masters men 65 and over, which, man, some of these guys are very, very talented, hard-working athletes, and, you know, their running careers go back to the 60s, so pretty incredible. Then we've got the women's under 20 running in that same event, and the Masters women, so that's 35 and over. So there'll be lots of races within the races. Often these athletes will keep an eye on their competitors that they might have run with for decades. But there's going to be some interesting matches. Now, when we're talking about this under 20 field in particular, there's a lot of rising talent, and the name that I've circled is one of the key ones to watch is this young girl, Charlie Miller. So she is your current school's triathlon champ. She's the 2 times New Zealand secondary schools cross-country champ. 2019, she came second at the New Zealand secondary schools cross-country champ. She's your reigning 5,000 metre under 20 champ. And in the New Zealand secondary schools track and field champs, she won both the 3K and the 1,500 metres last year. So she is a really top talent, and it'll be great to see how she copes with this undulating course at Chisholm Links.
I think it'll suit her well. She has been showing some good local form in the Waikato area. She took out the Waikato Bay of Plenty champs in Tauranga at Waipuna Park a month ago, and she backed that up with a win in the road champs in the under 20s last week at Cambridge, running somewhere around 37.5 minutes, which is pretty slick for a young lady of that age.
There you can see the start list. So Charlotte Floodsmith, Ryan, Maya Irving, local girl, Charlie Miller in the Waikato Bay of Plenty singlet, Eva Pringle from Canterbury, Laura Bungard of Otago, and Lahana Reeves of Otago. So they're your women's under 20 field. We've also got the Masters women, so why don't I run through that list. So we've got Michelle Watt, Christy Isles, Amanda Waldrum, Jennifer Walker, Tess Malloy, Jennifer Zhu, Heidi Jane Humphreys, Joe Ramsey, Amy DeWitt, Lee Grieve, Siobhan Mckinley, Georgina Pakior, Sarah Rhodes, Julie Edmonds, and Shireen Crumpton, the local girl. Now, she's 49. Shireen has her son competing and her mum competing. Amazing.
Yeah, look, Shireen is one of those evergreen competitors in our New Zealand domestic scene. She's actually had a lot of success previously overseas. Probably her specialist...
number 166, just being pushed to the front. Get to your place, Shireen.
The diminutive Shireen Crumpton. So she's more renowned as a marathon runner, but I'm pretty sure she's had some success over cross-country back in her senior days.
And great 2-time world champs in the marathon.
Yeah. And we have a notable absentee in Sally Gibbs, who hasn't been able to come down today. So.
And there you can see Charlie Miller just going straight to the front, not mucking around at all. We will most likely see her in the lead from start to finish, unless one of the other girls wants to go with her. I know Eva Pringle, she's the under-20 steeples champ from earlier this year, and also Maya Irving, she got third at the under-20s 3,000 metres, and Lahana Reeves got fourth just behind her as well. So there she is, Charlie Miller leading it out. Christy Isles, another one to watch in the Masters ranks there. She won't be too far behind. But let me run through the rest of those start lists. So in the 50-plus women, we've got Sue Cuthbert, Christine Montgomery, as you mentioned, Sally Gibbs is a scratching, Gail Sharp, Deborah Telfer, Claire Giles, Karen Gillam Green, Deli Sanderson, Linda Ta'o, Kathy Weatherston, Margaret Flanagan, Shirley Ralston, Barbara Patrick, and bringing it home, Myrtle Ruff will be the only competitor in the 70 to 79 category. As you can see, Charlie just extending her lead. And in the Masters Men 65 plus, we've got a good strong field here. These boys have turned up ready to run. Dave McLean, Daniel Rees, Gene Sanderson, Grant Jeffries, Graham Lear. Look out for that number 131. He will no doubt feature. I think he won this event last year. Phil Napper, Philip Morris, Ken Fahey, John Palmer, Graham Adams, Tony Dorbin, Fred Needham, Des Phillips, Alan Jones, Evan McIntosh, Robin Reed, Michael Bond, and John Gordon, the 80-year-old out of Port Hills Athletics in Canterbury. So here we go, a couple of minutes in, and this is where you come up to that top, probably the high point in the course as you take on this first kilometre. So it's like a butterfly shape. It would be the best way to describe the course, where you go out for a kilometre, come back to the clubhouse, and then go in the other direction for another kilometre loop. Both sort of going up for the first half of that kilometre. As you can see, Charlie Miller just reaching the top of that first butterfly wing. And then she'll come down, and when she hits around about the 700-800 metre mark, there's a very sharp drop, which could catch out some of these runners as they find that leg speed just getting too much on them. And then we've got a string of three Otago runners, making up those minor placings. But certainly it's Charlie Miller who's just right from the gun. She said, I'm going to go out and run this one from the front and assert my dominance in this age category. So there you can see she's going to drop down that sharp drop just there, so it really steepens out. It's a little bit muddy too. So there we've got some great footage from the stream shot, giving us some good angles on this course. So you can see here how her leg speed just speeds up. She's using gravity well to pull her down that hill, but she'll want to make sure her spikes maintain good traction through that section of the course. And here come the other girls hitting that same steep section for the first time. And our Masters men athletes there just coming through. We had Dave McLean on screen from Leap Harriers, the local boys.
Grant Jeffries from New Brighton Athletic Club in Canterbury on his holiday tour of the South Island, and his race today is the start of that tour. We've been very fortunate to have some great intel from our entry database, with all the athletes providing some little snippets of wisdom on how they've got into running and what motivates them, and how they've got on in the event before, which is really helpful. Yeah,
so Charlie Miller is one of those, we've got multiple triathletes competing today, and it's one of the blessings in disguise of COVID-19, and the fact that a lot of runners and triathletes who are usually competing overseas this time of year are stuck at home and are hungry for races. So it's great that we've got a lot more triathletes turning up for this year's cross-country challenge, not the championship. So there's some of our Masters women athletes just on screen.
That was 181, Myrtle Rowe from Hill City Athletic Club in Otago, born in Northern Ireland. She took up running when she was teaching with some schoolgirls in Kenya, and she's lived around New Zealand ever since. Great to see you here today, Myrtle.
And Myrtle is Shireen's mum. So there's the connection.
Yep.
So Shireen Crumpton, who I'm sure we'll get a look at some stage shortly. And then Fred Needham. So he won his age category last year, the M70 to 74. And we'll be looking to keep that one going. So he was actually coached by Sir Murray Halberg. Amazing.
And I saw Dan Rees from the University of Canterbury Athletic Club in that bunch as well. I think he's just about to come through. He's the race director for the Taki to Akaroa relay. You can see Daniel just going past in the maroon and yellow singlet there.
So all those athletes just making their way to the bottom of that steepest downhill. And that gives you an idea of how challenging this course is. Like that little flat section, that's pretty much as much flat as you're going to find on the course. I was saying to you earlier, Jason, it's definitely not a rhythm runner's course. You're just going to be constantly upset. You'll be running on cambers, then you'll be up a little hill, down a steep hill. So it'll keep you guessing, this course, and will definitely, you'd call it a good, honest cross-country course.
No hurdles, but yeah, no shortage of ascents. And when you think of the longer races, for the senior men and women, they'll be doing 5 by 2,000 metre laps. So that is really going to be cumulative in terms of the taxing effect that'll have on the legs and the cardiovascular system.
So Kathy Weatherston just on screen there. One of the many Otago athletes who have come out to support their local event. Great to see the local clubs getting behind this. And so if you've just joined us, it's great to have you tuned in to the 2020 Athletics Cross Country Challenge here at the Chisholm Links in Dunedin. We've got beautiful weather, just a little bit of cloud cover, but we're expecting a high of around 15 degrees, which I've got to say, like that's warmer than track and field nationals this year. And so it's pleasant conditions. You're certainly not too concerned about stripping down to your singlet and shorts and getting out there and running some cross country. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they've had a lot of rain here in the last week or so, but it's been nice in the last couple of days. We had a little bit of rain overnight, but the course has dried out really well.
So Charlie Miller coming in for her first lap, so she's just approaching the club rooms there. You can see the start-finish line. That's the start-finish line clock. So she's holding just about 4-minute Ks, so 8 minutes for that first 2K lap. And no doubt she'll be coming here to run as even splits as possible. So as a gauge, we had the Otago cross-country champs, Jason, a couple of weeks ago, and we got to see a gauge on those times. So we saw the senior men's winner come through in about 33 and a half minutes for the 10K. Now he's probably, a 31-minute flat 10K runner, so you can expect to add, doing the maths off the top of my head, 15-20 seconds per K. Would that be a rough estimate as how you might approach it as an athlete or a coach?
Yeah, I think probably, there'll be a number of different approaches for athletes. Some will want to be using their technology and looking at their running speed, and others will just be looking to pace themselves, pace their effort based on the distance. So it's a challenge out there for anyone out there today. Doesn't matter what distance you're running, you're going to have to be pushing it along to reach your potential and get the performance that you're after.
So Graham Adams and Tess Malloy just on screen there. You can see they've got ribbons on the back of their singlets. Now that helps them to helps their competitors to know which age group. So every 5-year age bracket for the Masters will have a different colour, and that way you can just keep an eye on, do I actually need to pass this person, or can I afford to let them go?
We have some 11, 12 ribbon colours out there today, starting with the 35 to 39-year-olds wearing white, right through to the 80 to 84-year-olds wearing light yellow. So a lot of colour out around the course, and quite handy for the competitors too, when they're running side by side in bunches with their fellow Masters athletes, and just sort of seeing, whether that person just in front of you that you're working hard to catch, are they in your age group, or are they a couple of age groups ahead of you? So it can be quite helpful in planning out your race. There's Karen Gillam-Green, former New Zealand cross-country representative, and just spoke to her 20 minutes or so ago, and she's a very busy woman at the moment, organising the New Zealand Secondary Schools cross-country champs in Hawera, which will be in about 3 weeks' time.
We'll be back on the mic then, of course. And so Charlie Miller continues to hold her very strong lead. It'll be interesting to get a split on this if we can, but she at the moment is well ahead as she was about 50 metres into the race. So she's certainly come here to run strong and run her own race, really.
By the looks of it, she's got a shoelace that may have come undone there on her left shoe as well, which I just picked up on. So hopefully that's not going to slow her down too much. She's in a rich vein of form at the moment. So there's our next three in the under-20 women's.
Yeah, so Maya Irving in 147 there, and then 153, Christy Isles. She's actually in the Masters category.
Wow.
So keeping up with the young
very
girls.
Youthful
doing very
looking
well.
Masters woman athlete.
She actually came first in her age division last year. So, and was that Shireen Crumpton just going through?
Robin Reed from the Napier Harrier Club in the Hawke's Bay there.
And there's Evan McIntosh from Invercargill doing the little drive up from the deep south. And Robin got third at the World Masters Games at the cross-country event back in 1994. So, and also came fourth in the triathlon. So he's been in the game for a little while. And there, Charlotte Floodsmith Ryan also running a really good race. We think that would be third place in the under-20s at the moment, just in the Wellington singlet there.
And it's her first national, well, was to be her first national championships, but she's got the New Zealand cross-country challenge today. She started running when she was 10 years old at her local Harrier Club, so she's running, looks like she'll be having one of her best runs out there today.
Good to see some bare feet out there on the course.
Yeah, we've had some well-known exponents of cross-country running. I can think of former Otago athlete Ross Wilson, who was a New Zealand junior and senior medalist and champion cross-country and track. He used to run as cross-country in bare feet. Should also mention the late, great Chip Dunkley, the Flying Doctor from Dunedin, who was a New Zealand cross-country representative, and he would have loved this course today. He was from the Hill City Athletic Club, and he was a noted barefoot runner over cross-country as well.
Oh, there's nothing like that feel of the mud between your toes, as we see Dave McLean just head up the hill there. There's something natural about running cross-country barefoot. Of course, they're going to be a little bit more prone to that slippery downhill without spikes on their feet to provide a bit of traction.
It's Grant Jeffries again on his southern tour from the New Brighton Club. Yeah, I used to love running in bare feet back in my junior days, and you just felt like you're floating, flying. But spikes are equally as light these days and provide a lot of advantages for athletes out there as well.
As we see Sue Cuthbert just coming over the hill.
Philip Morris from the Hill City Club representing Otago today as well. He was number 134.
And here we see Charlie Miller coming back to finish off her second lap. So these are 2K laps, and so obviously to make up the 6K they're going to be doing 3 laps. So she will be coming through to finish off that lap, and we'll see she was holding about 8 minutes for the first lap. She's looking like she'll be about on track for this lap.
Yeah, and this is one of the fastest sections of the course. It's a big sweeping left-hand 500-metre descent or thereabouts from the top of the course, and athletes can really get up some pace, some cadence down through this section. And Charlie's looking nice and relaxed.
Now, Jason, both you and I do a little bit of running coaching. And I've coached some downhill running before, and managed to go head over heels in front of about 50 people while I was trying to teach them downhill running technique. Now, you've probably got a little bit more experience than me, so any tips for runners wondering how to make the most of those downhills?
Rod Dixon always told me, you just need to sort of lean forward from your hips and really get your centre of gravity forward and let yourself go.
Yeah.
So if you try and hold back and sort of put your spine into a backward position, that's where you sort of start to break.
Yes.
So you really got to focus on leaning forward and getting your leg speed going.
Yeah. Allow those legs to fly on through. I often like the wide arms as well, the wings, to provide a bit of balance. So there's Charlie Miller. She's your winner on or your leader on the course, I should say. Got a good, handy lead. We'll
so
try
about 8:30 or thereabouts for that second lap. So she has slowed a little, and that left-hand shoe there, you can see the shoelaces flapping around there. So we've all had that happen to us at some stage in our racing careers.
Double knot and tuck away is the name of the game. So I can just see the second place runner coming through, which I think's just ahead of these two runners. So you can see she's just gone through. So they'll be about 30 seconds behind Charlie. But at the moment, Christy Isles from Caversham Harriers is definitely leading the Masters women.
You see the Canterbury athlete there, Joe Ramsey from North Canterbury. She was third in the Masters Women 40 to 44 last year in Wellington. Should be right up there again.
And we believe Graham Lear is leading the over 65 men at the moment. He was your winner in that same event last year. Coming out of Athletics Nelson. So loving all these blue and yellow singlets from Otago. So great when the local centres turn up and support their local champs. A lot of work goes behind the scenes from the local organising committee making these things happen. We were talking to one of that team and the work that obviously you got to shut down an entire golf course on a sunny day when people want to play golf, and there's a lot that goes into making these events happen. A lot of marshals out here, and particularly with being in level 2, there's a lot of that COVID stuff that we've got to be signed into the course. Spectators are kept in separate areas, and competitors are shuffled in and out from the course, avoiding those grouping more than 100 people in one section at a time. So a lot of work's gone in behind the scenes to make this event happen. So it's well done to the local organising committee and Athletics New Zealand for making the event happen in challenging circumstances.
Yeah, and we were to be here about a month ago, I think it was. 2nd of August was the original date set for the championships. So, yeah, a lot of disruption for the local organising committee, and what a great job they've done in putting this event together today. Remember talking to one of the local architects of the course here, Brent Halley from the Ariki Club, a year ago, coming home from the Wellington Nationals, and he was really excited about bringing this event down here. I think it's the first time the Nationals has been here for some 15, 20 years, so great to be back in the mainland.
So Kathy Weatherson just being passed by our race leader, Charlie Miller, who will have about 1.2 Ks to go. She'll be coming up past the club rooms now. She'll get a glimpse of the start-finish line, and she'll be looking forward to that finish line because it's been a solo, lonely effort out there on the track. She's had plenty of crowd support, but she's had to do it all by herself. So she's through 5K in about 20 minutes. So running good 4-minute Ks on a challenging cross-country course. You can see a bit of a grimace on her face in that pain cave of let this thing end. Where is that finish line? But it's good having some other competitors to come up past as Lee Greaves just sees Charlie run on by. And so as far as we talked a little bit about the weather, and so sunny, a little bit of cloud around, but the wind is pretty light at the moment, so the wind is really a non-issue at the moment, which is a which is a good thing, especially as we come into the later races, the senior races, where I'm sure there'll be a bit of tactics going on. At the moment, the wind really isn't a factor, and you could afford to do a bit of front running and not pay too much of a price for it.
I think that was the Wellingtonian there.
Yeah, was that Charlotte Flood-Smith-Ryan?
It was. So she's in maybe possibly holding third place in the under-20s, up into second by the looks of things. Just trying to get an identification on that athlete from Otago.
Graham Lear going well in the 65 and over. There he is, the man himself.
Flying along.
67 years of age, out of Nelson, and running incredibly well. When you think Charlie just less than, a third his age, maybe even a quarter, I'm trying to do the maths on the fly, is only a minute and a half ahead of him.
Looks like he's wearing some racing flats as well for a bit more cushioning out there today.
And this will be second place in the Masters men. Phil Napper, local boy from Ariki. And
Deborah Telfer from Athletics Southland there. The second place is her best placing in the Nationals. She's had a few injuries in recent years, but glad to be back. Running along well there.
So this point that we can see on screen is probably about 4.5k. So that top turn will be around about the 4.5k. So these runners here have about 1,500 metres to run. It's a steep downhill that takes you back to the club rooms, and then you're onto this final little butterfly wing of the course, which Charlie Miller, our race leader, is coming in. She will be able to see the finish line now. So she's almost at the end, and you can see there she'll be probably just a tick over that 4-minute Ks, which she started at. Right from the gun, she was in the lead, took it out strong, has run a brilliant solo race, and she will be looking to add yet another national title to her. She's the reigning champ in the 5,000 metres for women under 20. New Zealand secondary schools champs last year. She won the 3,000 and the 1,500 double, phenomenal double, and here she comes to get another title. It's not a national title. It's the title of the 2020 Athletics New Zealand Cross Country Challenge. Here she is, Charlie Miller, right from the gun to tape. She is going to be your winner today. A bit of a grimace on her face, but she is certainly happy to be home. And look, making some serious inroads was Maya Irving, who has actually pulled back quite a lead. I think it was 30 seconds at the start of this lap. It looks like it'll probably only be about 10 seconds, but Charlie Miller, she takes the win from gun to tape, but a brilliant run from Maya Irving, the local girl.
Great turnover.
She was third in that 3,000 metres earlier this year, and here she's finishing strong. She's had a good practice on this course earlier this month, and she'll be happy with that second place. Very strong running. And in third place, Charlotte Flood-Smith-Ryan out of Wellington, breaking up the Otago 1, 2, 3. Looking nice and comfy as she comes down this gentle downhill into the finishing chute.
First big race at this level, so something to be really proud of.
Absolutely, and finishing strong there. Is that our friend Christy Isles, who could be coming in to win the Masters Women? Finishing strong. So Charlotte Flood-Smith-Ryan, she's going to pick up the bronze. And there it is, Christy Isles coming in for the win in the Masters. Charlotte showing the pain of this tough course here at Chisholm
Crumpton still chasing.
Oh, look at that. Shireen Crumpton, she's only got 1 year left in the 35 to 49 age group. But Christy Isles, Graham Lear's going to come through. Christy Isles is going to win the 35 to 39 age group. Shireen Crumpton Her mum's running in the same race. Her son's going to run, her son ran earlier in the day, and here she comes, 2 times world marathon representative, and there she's going to win her age group. And Graham Lear ticking off yet another age group title. Well done, Graham Lear.
And our Canterbury athlete there, I think, coming through with an Otago athlete. That was Joe Ramsey from Canterbury, just trying to pick up the number of the Otago athlete.
Yeah, there's Amanda Waldrum with the tattoos, loving it. She's got in her bio, I love coaching kids and running athletics, and my other hobby is collecting tattoos, as you can see. Brilliant. So well done to these ladies crossing the finish line. Julie Edmonds comes through in the 45 to 49 age group. I think she'll be finishing in 2nd place.
And we have Laura Bungard there from Otago in her first year.
And Phil Napper next to her in the 65 to 69 age group. Very strong age group. Amazing that these guys are finishing well inside 4-minute Ks.
Now 151 there is Lahana Reeves and the under-20 women's. She's coming down to the finish line.
Yeah, she was 4th place in the 3,000 metres under 20 champs earlier in the year. So finishing a strong showing at her local cross-country champs challenge, I should say. It's going to take a while to get used to that one. And so a huge shout out to Aon for supporting athletics and cross-country all around New Zealand. Brilliant supporters of athletics in New Zealand, and of course Chisholm Links, who have allowed us to make use of their golf course for the day. Carve it up with our spikes. Promise not to make too much damage, but coming through the finishing chute here in the bare feet. Fantastic running.
Christine Montgomery from the Leith Harrier Club in Otago, and she loves running barefoot. She's done it all her life.
The welcome sight of those finishing mats as you go through. So all these athletes have their timing chips, which will be keeping track of placings and times and all that. They come through to the finish line in these beautiful conditions here in Otago. Otago really turning it on for us. For some great...
Gail Sharp from the Caversham Club in Otago. Previously been a walker and taken up running in recent times. And we had Georgina Pakiho from the Hill City Club in Otago. Also, great to see such a solid contingent of Otago athletes out here today.
Yeah, Michelle Watt coming in for a good strong finish in the sunglasses.
And Graham Adams all the way from Tauranga and the Waikato.
I do like to see a good strong finish, Jason, in a cross-country race.
I think you need to. Whatever race you're in today, you're going to have a lot of pressure applied to you in that last 500 metres because it's downhill and it's probably one of the better parts of the course underfoot.
So Philip Morris finishing there with Sue Cuthbert coming through. So she won her age group way back in 2007.
Amy DeWitt from the Pat Tok H Club in Christchurch. Trains with her kids.
And Tess Malloy coming in from Otago. Another Otago singlet crossing that finish line. So we see another of our M65 plus athletes coming through.
And that was Siobhan Mckinley from the Leith Harrier Club.
And Fred Needham winning his age group as far as we know. So he's in the 70 to 74 age group. He won last year, and I believe he's just picked up another title.
And there's Dan Rees. He's happy with his performance today. One of the stalwarts of the Athletics Canterbury region, and you'll be getting prepared for the Takiakaroa relay in a couple of weeks' time.
So Dave McLean in the bare feet coming through on this Chisholm Links course, sucking in that oxygen. Well done, Dave, finishing off your 6K round this challenging course. Well, is it challenging or is it honest? What are we going to call it? How should we define this thing?
I think it's both.
I mean, you make it as challenging as the faster you go, the more challenging it becomes, right? And here's Jennifer Zhao from Canterbury. Good solid run in the 6K here. She's in the 35 to 39 age group. Former triathlete and road cyclist, switching over to the running. So always good to see when it goes that way. Usually we lose the runners to the triathlon and the cycling as the knees break down, and you look for those sports that are less impacting.
Here's Grant Jeffries from the New Brighton Olympic Club in Christchurch, finishing his 6K.
So as a heads up where we're going to next, at 11:30 we've got the big one, the M18 men's under 18 and the women's under 18 going together in 6K for the men and 5K for the women. So that is definitely one to tune into, because we've got some big talents of tomorrow coming through, and it's definitely where we see a lot of the cream rises to the top at that sort of stage in your high school career. As your body starts to develop, you start to build up that mileage, and this is where it all sort of comes to fruition as you hit sort of 16 and 17. So we'll really be excited to see some talented runners on display. So that's at 11:30. So we'll have a little bit of a break. We'll try and catch up with some of the winners. And I wonder, Jason, if I go and hunt down Charlie Miller, see if we can have a chat to her.
Yeah, see if you can find Graham and our winner of the Masters Women's race as well. She may be... That was Christy Isles who took out the Masters Women's event.
All right, I will talk to you soon.
Age group, Barbara Patrick. Barbara Patrick from Otago runs with the Hill City Club in Dunedin, and I believe she's going to be the silver medalist in the women's 70. Ken Fahey, he presides over the Caversham Club, and here he comes down the finish line in the Otago singlet. Number 140, Des Phillips from Taranaki. He's going to be followed home by Alan Jones, also from the Taranaki, but he's in an age group, men's 75.
Did you think you were going to be solo from the start?
Claire Giles, she runs with the Caversham Club here in Dunedin, number 172. in the Otago uniform today, coming through her finish her race.
Running by myself, like I like running in packs.
Yeah.
It's like a bit of work, but yeah, it was good. A nice challenge, I guess.
Robin Reid in the 75 plus finishes
What I need to do is stand
in
about
good shape.
here.
End of 6,000
This
metres.
mic will pick you up.
You stand next to the camera.
Just a reminder that the next event in the program is the men's and women's 20 age group, one of the most competitive fields that we've got for these
All right,
championships.
so with me here is Charlie Miller. So congratulations on your win in the women's under-20s.
And men's 18
Yeah,
still
it was
remains the most
It was a
competitive
tough race,
of races
running
for these
solo the whole way,
championships.
which is
The women's
always
20
hard
obviously
to
just
work off of,
completed.
but it's a nice challenging course
Sanderson
that
finishing
always
in the
keeps you
Otago
interesting and
colours.
keeps you working hard. So yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah. Now, so you've had a really successful year.
So that
You've
event,
got
the
some titles on the track. You've won the
men's-
National Schools Triathlon Champs. Now, where to next? What's the
men's-
plan for the summer?
and
The
women's
summer plan pretty much just
under
track,
18 championship
track,
getting
track.
underway at
Track
11:30,
is by
so
far
that's just
my
in a little
preference
bit
for
over 20 minutes
cross-country.
time, but we've still got some
Cross-country, not my
finishes
favourite,
in
but good
this
for
Masters
fitness,
event
so, yeah,
to come
lots
down
of
to
track
greet the judge.
racing, hopefully secondary school nationals in the start of December, and then all of the classic meets over the summer, which will be good to work towards.
Awesome. And what are you thinking's your main distance? Are you going to sort of hover around that 3K or go for something shorter like the 1500?
Yeah, I think definitely 1500. At the start of the year, I ran with the senior women at the National Track Club Nationals, which was really awesome. I love that. That distance is by far my favourite.
The Southland colours coming down to the finish, number
Can be strategic as
142.
well, so yeah, definitely go
Evan
for that short.
McIntosh.
Cool. So today's sort of the
Men's
opposite
75
of quick
plus.
and strategic. You were solo
Yeah,
right from
yeah.
the start. Like, was that kind of the game plan to just go out and if anyone went with you, so be it?
Yeah, pretty much just go out for a solid run, try and get some hard work in. If someone came with me, they came with me, but obviously it turned into a bit of a solo run, which is always tough, but it was good. It's always good to do cross-country fitness, you know,
Totally.
the longer stuff, which is good.
Now, how are the hills? Because it looks sort of rolling, a few little pinchy hills, but especially that downhill. How was that running down that?
That downhill is definitely challenging. I think that's almost more challenging than the uphills because you've got a sort of nice slight downhill coming into it and then it just goes down. So it's sort of like, oh, you go into it too fast, take wrong stepping, you might tumble over. But yeah, no, it's nice rhythm up into the back of the course, which is nice.
Awesome. Well, congrats again and safe travels back home. Do you want to do a little shout out to your St. Peter's
Shout out to St.
crew?
Peter's, yeah. No, honestly, the St. Peter's, our little athletics cross-country squad is so awesome. We have the best team environment to train in, the best coaches, Ange and Sonia. They're awesome. So yeah, big shout out to them. They're awesome to work with.
Awesome. Good stuff,
Awesome.
Charlie.
Thank you so much.
Less than 100 metres to run. Myrtle Ruff, one of the identities of Otago running, coming down to the finish line. 79 years of age. 80th birthday just coming up. Running with determination and a little wave to those supporting her. Well done, Myrtle.
Great, folks. Thanks for tuning in for our first race in the 2021 Athletics New Zealand Cross Country Challenge. So that's our first race done for the day. So we see one of our last competitors coming across the line there. Our next race is the women and men's under 18s. We'll be back with you just before 11:30 a.m. Look forward to it.
other problem I should